Well, casino gaming has turned Atlantic City from a rundown resort into a tourist destination.
But that transition wasn't easy, from the strain on city services to the impact on local business. There were plenty of obstacles.
Today, in part 2 of our series, we look at some of the problems Atlantic City faced. Casino after casino drawing more than 35 million tourists a year. Hungry tourists with money to spend. This is exactly what Atlantic City's restaurants and businesses envisioned when casino gaming came to this resort in 1978.
We felt that they would bring a lot more people to the town, and we'd get our share of the business from the increased tourism.
But that wasn't to be. Each new glitzy casino that opened carried with it its own seafood restaurants, steakhouse, Italian, Chinese restaurants, not to mention coffee houses, delis, and the ever-popular low-cost buffets. As a result, most restaurants folded. Joe Faldetta's is one of the few that have survived.
In 1978, which was the day resorts opened, there were 319 restaurants and bars in this town. We're less than 50 today.
The city quickly learned the casinos were concentrated inward. Once they got tourists in their doors, they didn't want to give them an excuse to leave.
They've got the hotels, they've got gourmet restaurants, they've got the gambling, they've got the entertainment. There's really no reason for a gambler to leave a casino once they come to Atlantic City.
While local businesses never saw the gamblers, the Atlantic City Rescue Mission did.
Prior to 1970, we had a dozen beds. Now we have 240 beds, and oftentimes we use the capacity is beyond 240. We'll put 60 people on the floor.
The mission is the city's homeless shelter. 22% of the people they service have a gambling addiction.
Big night for me when I started here in the 80s was 50 people. I would be overwhelmed. If we ever had 50 people again, I would feel like we didn't need the facility.
The casinos also had trouble early on trying to operate while complying with state regulations that were drowning them in red tape.
Regulators came in and told you how big the room could be. They told you what color paper to have on the wall, almost what color toilet paper to use. Every advertisement that you put out had to be approved by the Casino Control Commission.
While the state was paying close attention to minor details, the city itself was being ignored. The casinos look great, but in order to get to them, tourists had to drive on small roads through in spots what looked like a third world country.
The rest of the town, quite frankly, was stalled. The casino industry was blaming the state was blaming city government was blaming the casino industry, and everybody was right.
It took a good 15 years to turn things around, from improving roads to giving the city a facelift. It is a process that is still a long way from finished. With one casino in Niagara Falls and another in Buffalo, there is little chance that Western New York would see the number of troubles that Atlantic City has faced. Nevertheless, there are lessons to be learned, something we'll look at in part 3 of our series as we talk to the people who helped guide Atlantic City through those difficult times as they offer their advice to Western New York. In Atlantic City, John Kosich, Channel 7, Eyewitness News. Now, another thing that the city had to deal with is the fact that the casinos had positions to fill, and they rated the local workforce to fill them. So Atlantic City police officers were being offered good money to go work as security guards in the hotels. Bank tellers, because they can count money fast. They were hired away by the casinos. So it was an overall draining of the resources locally as everything came up to speed real quick. It took them a good 15 years to kind of get things on the right track, and tonight they're going to help Western New York with their advice on what to do, what not to do.